she does.
Commence primary ignition.
For Thursday, November 5th, 2020, it's the Serenno Squadcast, the official podcast of the Serenno Squad. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Serenno Squadcast. And thank you guys for joining us. We have the squad. Today we have Paul.
Hello. I'm joined by Cody.
Yes. For all you video listeners, is that the thing?
Viewers.
You viewers. We
There's
also
a black feline.
Yes. And we have Wayne
Nick.
and Evan.
Hello.
And I am Gunner.
I noticed something
And
in the intro I've never noticed before.
what's
You're
that?
missing that sound effect from the Death Star.
What is it?
You're missing the poo sound effect.
No, that's
When
in it.
They pull the lever.
That's the very first part.
Is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Well, maybe it doesn't sound good through the
It's like it's the very first. It's before the music even starts. It goes boo and it goes psh, doo 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 doo.
it might not be loud enough. I don't know. But
Best we can hope for, though, is that this week's episode is more exciting than last week's, because I've never once heard us, hey, you guys are doing a good job. But you can be damn sure 3 times this week I've heard, last week's show, huh?
Sounds like it was a full refund.
yeah. We never promised that they would get any better. We just said that we would do them. So,
Yeah, if you're
was just
expecting
assumed.
quality content, then you are bound to be disappointed.
yeah, give us
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 years, you know?
Yeah, we gotta get to episode 1532 before we get good.
Yeah, before anybody cares.
If anybody complains, just say at least we're not like Joe Rogan, who does 7.5 days of podcast.
Yeah.
One episode is like a month of your life.
That's true. That's true. We are not the JRE, but we are the Serenno Squadcast. So as far as Legion news, we don't really have that much Legion news, but we do have some
We got a troop.
announcements. Well, wait. Oh yeah, we haven't talked about the. Okay.
We did have a troop.
I didn't go to the troop. I don't want to talk about it.
Oh yeah, we're not going to move on. That is the 501st Legion.
Legion news. Yeah, I'm so out of the loop. So, of course, the troop that everybody was waiting for on that was on the 30th, right? The
Yes.
day before Halloween.
Yep.
And yes, I did not make it, unfortunately. So I kind of overlooked it, but you guys were there. So tell me about y'all's experience there at the farm. And
Cold.
cold.
So
Yeah, it got
cold.
Real cold, real quick. 'Cause when the sun was up, it was windy, and then the sun went down, and it got cold.
It was like 6:25, and me and Wayne were like, "All right, we're out of here!" Boo! We were out of there. We were out of there like bats out of hell.
Yeah, I heard the people who actually attended the event, actually went through the drive-through trick-or-treating line. I think it was after 7 when I finally left. There were still cars there, and the event closed at 6:30.
Wow.
I think they either underestimated how long it took to get through the loop, or how many cars were going to be there.
I think a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Because it sounded like traffic backed up onto 460, which is like,
It was easily 1.5 miles, 2 miles in.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jeez.
a lot of cars.
I mean, it's really cool though, because it hopefully this is something that they can continue doing next year. I mean, Lehman Farms is a huge kind of thing that everyone in the area goes to. So I don't know. I would love to be invited back next year and wear a warmer costume.
Yeah, I'll know next year I'm going to do the pilot or the gunner or something.
Royal Guard.
I
Royal
was
Guard
wearing my
would've been
pilot,
perfect.
and my hands were cold, and my chin was cold.
I got, when we first got there, we started dressing out. We had to do it outside. So we're just standing out there in a field, where they've got the cars parked. So my socks started off wet.
Yep.
Then I put on my Stormtrooper, and it never got any warmer.
Nope.
And then it got to the point where close to the end, I was just moving my arm because I couldn't feel my hands. So I could have very well been waving a steak at those kids. And that's what it felt like. There's something at the end of my arm.
I couldn't see anything either because
rage that I had for like the first 20 minutes I was there.
Yeah, that's what kept you
me
warm.
warm. Because long story short, I didn't know exactly where the place was, but I knew like 70% of how to get there. I'm like, okay, I know it's off 460. I know it's down this way. So half the way I drove there, I didn't turn my GPS on because I was like, I know where I'm going. So I get the point, I turn my GPS on. My phone immediately says GPS signal lost and did not come back. So I had to look at the map the old-fashioned way and just be like, okay, it says turn on this route number, which whoever picks these route numbers is just like, just use the same 4 numbers for everything. It's fine. So I turned down the wrong road and just got completely turned around in the wrong direction. I literally had to call Jen. She pulled it up on the computer and told me where to turn.
Wow.
And then I hit the line of cars to get in, and I was just not a happy camper.
How far off were you?
But I did get there before the event started. I don't think I've ever dressed in my TIE Pilot faster because I just threw it on as fast as I could, walked a couple hundred yards across the field where everyone else was, and joined up and had a nice little profanity-laden tirade explaining my issues getting there.
And the first thought in my head was, it ain't me this time.
And for the first time, I actually had to struggle with lenses fogging up. I've never had my lenses fog up before. I don't know why, but my lenses were fogged up so bad I literally could not see. I could see like a tiny corner out of one lens. So I was probably standing really weird in all my pictures, like standing sideways and like looking out of my helmet like this.
Do you not have a fan in your helmet yet?
No. I mean, I've only worn the TK 3 times.
Right. That's why I said
And
yes.
plus the TK is probably my coolest costume. So I'm like, why do I need a fan?
Now you know.
Yeah.
Well, how was it as far as the interaction with all the cars and stuff like that? Were they just rolling by the whole time, or were they stopping?
Yeah, and then we just stood there and waved.
Yep.
Actually, Evan put it the best when he said, this is like a reverse parade.
Oh, wow. That's a good point.
We were right next to a candy station, so they would pull up. Dudes with little like scoopers on a stick would give them some candy, and they would roll forward about 10 feet, and they would come to us, take a couple pictures, and then they would move on to the next candy station. Eventually, traffic backed up, so they would spend more than a few seconds with us. But yeah, it was just, we stood still, and the people just rolled by us.
It felt very safe. Like I felt really good about the event. I mean, I was just we had a good distance from the cars. I felt like the cars were rolling by at a really good pace, so you could like interact with the kids a little bit, but they weren't like lingering too long. So they were just kind of rolling pretty slowly. I thought it was great.
I was more worried about all the kids who were standing up in the sunroofs or hanging out the window, or there was a unexpected number of them who were just like, I'm just gonna stand on the center console of the car and stick my upper body through the sunroof.
Yeah.
I
Just
saw
like in the
a
movies.
bunch. There were a bunch of kids that were sitting in their parents' laps as the parent was driving, and I was like, and sometimes the kid had the hands on the wheel, and I was like, I mean, I'm not a parent, so I don't like get it. I was like, is this safe?
Yeah, they were. I don't think anybody actually hit their gas pedal. I mean, it was pretty much just idling.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
And I kept expecting a car to get stuck because they put down all this gravel to make a little road, because it's literally a field. I mean, we're in the middle of nowhere. And they put down all this gravel, and the gravel slowly disappeared into what looked like, these wheel ruts where every car had been rolling through.
Yeah, so as they would come, they'd stop, take a picture, and then as they started to go back again, they dig in, and you'd see the tire spin, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna get covered in mud."
There was a couple older cars, like those weak little 95 Saturn or something rolled by, and I'm like, "Oh, this car is getting stuck. It doesn't have the power."
Nobody got stuck.
As far as I know, nobody got stuck.
Nice. And how long was it total you guys were there?
We got there.
I think I was there for 3 days.
I think people started we started showing up sometime after 3:30,
Mm-hmm.
and then
You said
the
6:30.
actual event ran from 4:30 to 6:30.
Yeah.
It was sometime around 8 a.m. yesterday when the last car finally drove through.
I was there till 6:30 on the dot. As soon as 6:30
Yep.
hit, I was running to my car, throwing everything off, and then hopping in the heat. I think some people stayed a little longer, but not too much longer, I don't think.
Nice.
But it was a fun time. It was good.
Yeah, I would definitely do it again.
Yeah.
I just want a troop. I don't care if I was just standing in the field by myself. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I was
actually.
so glad I didn't wear my sand trooper.
Yeah, you were.
Because number one, I would have been frozen, and number two, I would have been saying, "Move along, move along."
Right.
I said it a few times. That's what I should have brought the DLT because I was holding the E11 the whole time. Oh, there we go.
So Chris brought his droid C2S something.
C2S5, I think.
Yeah, where's its head or where's its body?
He was having some issues with the motor. I think the motor housing cracked or something like that. It's just wear and tear. So he was working on it because he was the handler, and Cammy, as the Java there, was having some fun running around holding the head.
Decapitated
great.
droid. Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool.
That droid was awesome.
Oh yeah, the droid looked cool,
It's
and
amazing.
he's got some cool. It has its own unique voice, which kept making me think of old-fashioned Cylons.
Yeah, and it has voice things. Like at one point, it was like by Imperial command, blah blah blah, and it was so awesome. And when it started getting darker, you could see all the LEDs on it. It was so cool.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, he did a good job with that. I can't wait to see it in person. I still have yet to see it in person.
Oh, it's incredible.
Well, it's because you don't troop.
I know. I don't know if I ever will again.
Yeah. Well,
That's
here's
what
to
I
you,
signed
kid.
up for.
I'm your
Yep.
kid.
Yep. Yes, that is.
Yeah, I'll do troops when the kid's asleep.
What I'm realizing now is that I really want to. I want to finish my gunner so that I can have one super easy costume to just throw on, put a helmet on, and I feel like I'm actually doing something cool rather than. I mean, I can't wait to do the clone, but it's going to be a minute, I imagine, before it's the right event and that I have the time.
I mean this
Personally.
in the nicest way, but I can wait for you to do the clone. Because when we do clones, you ain't standing anywhere near me.
Yeah, we'll have to figure something out.
It'll be like daddy clone and baby clone.
No.
It's going to be like soldier clone and fatty clone.
No. We'll do. No, I don't think so.
I can't wait to see your clone, Wayne. I think it's gonna look really cool.
Dude, yes.
Maybe by the next time we have a troop, like a proper troop, I'll actually have a clone finished.
Nice. Yeah.
I'm
Looking forward to that.
lacking motivation at the moment.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
Because I'm deep in the time-consuming awfulness of it. And it's just like, I don't want to work on it. All the
Dude.
fun
Yeah.
easy stuff is done.
dude, that's how I
Can't do more
felt.
fun easy stuff until I do the awful parts.
Dude, that's how I felt when I printed the whole dang thing. Oh my god, that was a tall order. But anyways, back to the troop. You guys, We had Darth Vader there. We had Tusken Raider. It was a very OT looking group there. I like how, depending on who all's going, you guys can kind of get together and be like, it's starting to look like it's gonna. Or I don't know if y'all even did that on purpose, but it almost seems like you guys probably went with original trilogy characters to kind of just.
No, it just kind of happened.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, I
kinda
didn't even
happened.
think about that.
Wow, that's awesome. That's even more of a beautiful thing then.
I would have worn my Kylo, but I was just too lazy to run by Paul's house and grab the hood.
We may or may not have finished it.
Sorry,
It may
Well,
or may not still be sitting in the exact same
Kylo.
place.
you still have my old hood too, so I technically have two hoods.
It's a
Nice.
shame if you only got one back.
Well, he doesn't need to.
It's true. I'm gonna need to figure out how to wax the new one. I have all of the stuff to wax it with, but I have all the stuff to wax it. I just need to figure out the right combination to make it look like the rest of the suit.
Everybody swears by Don's mix.
Yeah, that's what I think. I have all that stuff.
Cool. All right. Well, that's I guess that's about it for the troop, but still within the Legion news, I wanted to go over a couple of the approvals that we just had come through. I'll pull those up real quick. All right. First up, we have BH95112 for the approval of their Mandalorian, Din Djarin.
It's the first one in the garrison, I believe.
Yep, it looks darn good. It's kind of like the first few episodes of season 1.
I think that's right now. That's the only one you can get approved. I don't think Paul. Do we have a Beskar version?
Better not.
The full Beskar version, I believe, is Rebel Legion. I don't think 501st is accepting that one because once he gets the full suit, he's fighting against the Empire, which
Right.
this credits him.
Okay.
I think you can do the one shoulder. I don't know. I haven't really researched it, but if it was up to me, I would say you could do to that. You could do those two versions.
Right.
If it were up to me, I would say, is it a cool costume? Yes. Put it in the 501st. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, if everything was up to me, I'd be like, screw it. We're one organization.
Yeah.
All Star Wars costumes.
Yeah.
Or at least like, why does it have to be a costume thing? Why can't it just be the character thing? It's kind of like my Bly, how I can be both with one character, but just because they have a different outfit, it's considered a different character. It's kind of weird.
It's not
Here's at that point.
It's what was the character doing? And
Right.
Din from The Mandalorian still feels weird to call him by his name.
It
just
does.
seems perfect to just call him The Mandalorian.
Like he comes by your house and eats chicken.
He's probably offended that you don't call him by his name. I do that for the hardcore people.
Yeah. When he gets the suit, his mindset has changed. His motivations have changed. When he goes back to save Baby Yoda, I'm sorry, that's what it's called. Baby Yoda forever and ever. They can call it whatever they want. The whole world calls it Baby Yoda.
Yeah, true. They had to have expected that. I mean, is what it is.
Yeah.
But that's probably the only version of Mando, unless he takes a turn for the worse.
Yeah,
at some point. All right.
I don't think it's going to happen, but.
Gotcha. All right. Well, our next approval is TD19665 for their what looks like a sand stormtrooper.
Sandy.
Sand trooper, yep.
It's just the sand trooper. Not a
little bit more, but
not a shore trooper, not a
Sand Trooper.
Sand. And this came. This was from A New Hope, right?
Yes. You've seen the movies, right?
Yeah.
What movies?
The Star Trek, the motion picture.
Yeah.
No,
This is actually Spock when he goes to meet V'ger.
I do not know that reference, but it sounded funny. So, I'm gonna give you that one. But yes, I've seen him once or twice. I know, Paul, you have this very, very kit, this very costume, correct?
Costume, yes. Kit, no.
So it
Way better than mine.
okay,
It's way newer.
That's a good looking kit.
Yeah.
but that's a good way to. So would you say that that's like a waste of a good kit if you're gonna do it like that versus where you used a lesser kit to kind of dirty up?
No. Sandies are awesome. I love my Sandies.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like when you have to super dirty up a costume like that, it looked like the kit, even though you're completely covering, like, so the Minbon Trooper is completely covered in mud. Even though it's completely covered in mud, if you have a cool looking kit, it looks cooler.
Right.
Oh, crap.
Well, I like it. I think it looks sweet, and just takes you back to those scenes.
I'm sure me and Wayne will end up as a Sand Trooper one of these days after a couple of years of trooping. The armor starts to turn yellow, it gets all beat up, and you're like, time to convert it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Upgrade.
You guys
Happens to everyone.
I'm kind of surprised you didn't go Sand Trooper because you get pouches, you get a pauldron, you can have a backpack, you get the big gun.
Are there any people? Oh, go ahead.
I figured eventually I would go Sand Trooper just naturally. So I was like, I want to spend some time as a regular Stormtrooper before I get to that point, because if I'm going to be there eventually, I might as well have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if there's anybody that's been like, "Hey, man, is that a Sand Trooper?" And be like, "No, this is just my normal TK. It's just that dirty."
I just smoke a lot.
Yeah, I smoke in my armor. Yeah, well, whatever makes you happy. But that is it for.
Looking certainly makes me happy.
Yeah, that's it for this week, though, as far as our approvals. But that's great. Those are flipping awesome. Love them.
No.
All right. Well, going to our next segment.
Or not.
Maybe, possibly.
Could be.
Could be.
It could. All right. So, top story. Actually, I forgot to. Well, the top story is we're gonna be talking about the newest episode of The Mandalorian.
Yep.
Also, a channel update, which I guess I'll do that. We're gonna start, if we can, having the Squadcast weekly, so that we can talk about each episode. And even if the Squadcasts aren't as long, we'll at least get together as often as we can to talk about it.
We all need to talk about
You can
it.
be bored more often.
Exactly. That's what we're trying to do. But I mean,
Everybody's stuck at home. They ain't got anything else better to do.
Yeah, really.
yeah. But talking about this this
That's
first.
where you're wrong, Bucko.
Yeah, so this first episode, without jumping all the way to the end of it, did you guys would you say that you were surprised by how everything turned out, or would you say, oh yeah, that's it makes sense to me?
Yeah, saw it coming.
Okay, you say you saw it coming, but I feel like we've had an episode where we've talked about this, and we basically took Boba Fett off of the list.
Yeah, I didn't think I didn't see it happening. Like, I thought that they had gone to Tatooine, they did the Tatooine thing. I was like, if we didn't see him then, we're not going to see him. I was like, it's done. But I mean, when he shows up in his armor, I mean, obviously, number one, you know it's not Boba Fett because it looks bad.
He's
the
so
armor is
skinny.
Yeah, he looks gross, and then the armor is just wrecked. And I was like, I know where they pulled that armor off. Also, I've read the Aftermath books, so you already have met that character in the Aftermath books.
Okay, cool. Played by Timothy Oliphant. Is that how you pronounce his name? I don't know. But I'm a big fan of that guy. I love all the movies that he's in, and he's a really good actor. So to have him in the Star Wars universe, that's like, yeah, you deserve it, buddy. So
I'm amazed. We are now 9 episodes into a show called The Mandalorian. No one has yet to say the name Boba Fett.
Well, it's been 20 years, 25 years.
Did no one say
you're
Boba
talking about
Fett
you're talking about in the Star Wars universe in the show. No one said the name Boba Fett.
Boba Fett was like, well, depending on what source you're reading, either the scariest thing in the underworld or a low-level bounty hunter who only worked for Jabba.
Wow, that's a broad spectrum.
We're only like 5 years after the end of Return of the Jedi, so and we're on Tatooine. We're like, he spent most of his time.
Right.
And
Yep,
he's
there he is.
arguably the most famous Mandalorian, both in universe and out of universe.
Oh, that rangefinder.
Boba Fett.
So he already has a reputation, and you're kind of surprised that in that in this this era or time period that we're watching with the Mandalorian, that nobody's even mentioned this kind of legend, especially being on the planet that they're at, you know. But before, I guess I kind of screwed that up a little bit, but
I mean, it's like having a Batman show and you haven't seen Thomas and Martha Wayne get shot. It just
I'd immediately want my money back.
it boggles the mind.
When I go into a Batman show, yeah, that's the first thing. I better be seeing Martha die and Pearl says, "Play." That's what I'm there for.
that's okay.
No.
I could go off on the Pearl thing, but I won't. That's for the Batman podcast.
But anyways, back to Mandalorian. It starts off with, I guess, where is Mando? He's on some planets that's.
It doesn't say.
Some kind of city.
That's my one concern or one complaint against the show, and it's really confusing in season 1. We have no idea, except for Tatooine, what any of these planets are. What is the same planet? What is not the same planet?
Right.
So,
Has he been to the same place before or not?
Yeah, and a lot of them look so similar too. They're just like kind of dusty.
Right.
yeah, it's Desert Planet A, slightly darker desert planet.
But it starts off. It's like it's kind of like a rough looking city.
Really?
And you got a bunch of graffiti and a bunch of
Oh yeah, there's a ton.
some cool graffiti. You see some stormtroopers. You see some.
I think there's one that's supposed to be 3PO.
Okay. There's all sorts of Chewbacca. So what were those red-eyed things in the alley that was basically preying on everything? I thought
they're the children of the night. Listen to them sing.
I was at first under the impression that they were Jawas just because I saw red glowing eyes. And then I heard them growling.
Yeah.
And Hannah was like, what are those? I was like, I don't know.
Hungry Jawas.
They're just
right.
creatures.
Yeah, creatures, generic Star Wars creatures. You've seen them. You've seen them all over the place. They're just
Always. I'm not good at sewing. I can do it for the most part. It looks bad, but it works. So I just work with it.
He does the best he can. So, yeah, we don't know where the heck they are, but then he goes up in the, it's kind of like a boxing ring arena.
To John Leguizamo.
Right?
I'm not going to lie. Once I got a good look at those Gamorreans, I thought they looked really bad.
Yeah.
They
looked like they were wearing
weird.
body suits.
It's pretty far. They look really weird because
No, like nylon bodysuits.
I feel like they didn't even want
Look
you to look
cheap.
at them because they moved so, the cuts were so fast. It was like, don't look too long.
Yeah, like I swear I saw seams on a few of them.
Well, one of them was a female Gamorrean too, right?
Let Paul speak.
their legs were really small. Like it just looks like a dude's leg. Or if you look at the fat ones in Return of the Jedi, they're fat all over.
Maybe they were just fat.
They don't look muscular.
Yeah,
Just
they don't look
So the
big.
Gamorrean guards were
like
like
a
the
dude
mall
with a full
cops. Okay, they're the mall cops, and they're just guarding the So
I mean, they're going to be in shape to be fighters like that. I get
yeah, the
that.
fighters will. Yeah, for sure.
I'm fine with that. I think the suits looked bad.
It looks weird. It doesn't look like a smooth transition there. Like their heads are too big.
Cheap.
Yeah, it looked like they went to the Spirit of Halloween and was like, hey, here's a green screen suit. Get 2 of them.
Yeah, and a big
Green
And a
man.
big head. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I still thought it was pretty cool. And they were talking.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool scene. Don't get me wrong.
Now, were those like axes that they were using? They were
They're
like,
vibro axes.
Yeah.
were they hurting each other though? It looked pretty painful, and they were like talking about
vibro
killing
axes
them.
hurt.
Yeah,
But it
they're
wasn't
vibro
like-
axes. The back axes are vibrating.
Right. It just didn't look like it was like cutting any gashes or anything. So I thought, like, is this some type of sport where it's like,
A
They don't-
vibro axe will do blunt damage at a fast hit. It's if you come in slower with it moving like that, that's where it'll do its cutting. They were hitting each
Jeez.
other like blunt objects because when it shakes like that, it gives a force, and when it hits, it disperses it. That's why you're getting that look like they were wearing force
Wow.
fields.
I wasn't sure if maybe
Star
they had
Wars physics?
personal shields to kind of be like, this is more of a boxing match, and less
That's
of
what
a-
yeah, I don't know. I couldn't
Well,
tell.
if they were going to do that, they wouldn't use vibro axes.
Yeah, you still want
Right. Who knows? Interesting, but yep, that ends up
I know.
that leads to
I
the
have no
brawl in the arena there, and then they end up chasing out dude, all Cyclops, whatever, and that's where he finds that there is a bounty hunter, or no, a Mandalorian, right,
He just says there's a Mandalorian on Tatooine.
on Tatooine.
As soon as he said that, I was like, I know who that is.
And then you didn't.
I didn't know what to think about that. I was like, another Mandalorian. Like,
I
was
figured
it
it
one
was
of his
someone-
buddies?
I figured it was some. I didn't think they would show Cobb Vanth. I just assumed it was someone wearing Boba Fett's armor doing nasty stuff.
Right.
And you were right.
So
Well, he was.
yeah, we meet Cobb Vanth, who is using the term character is pretty loose. It's more character in air quotes from the Aftermath books.
Yeah.
He's from the way those books are is every couple chapters you have this brief little like interlude. It's just like somewhere else in the galaxy, here's this 5-minute scene of
Meanwhile.
exactly. Just be like, hey, this is just to kind of give you flavor of what's happening across the galaxy at this time. You know, different little planting seeds of story ideas that people can pick up on later like this.
Well, they did.
Yeah, it's all, I vaguely remember it. I've read all 3 of those books. It's basically a dude, the story he tells in the show is pretty much what the book is. That way I can't speak English.
Well, at least you're getting something new.
What you read in the book is basically what you saw in the show. I mean, there's not much more to it. It's, a dude stumbled across Boba Fett's armor and then wore it.
Gotcha.
That's it.
I was so afraid he was going to say his name was Jodo.
Jodo.
Yeah, Jodo cast.
Jodo Cast would have been dead for a long time by then, or he would have been really old, right?
He would have been as old as Boba Fett.
I
But
thought
no, he
Jodo
would have been
Cast.
dead for a long time if he did exist. Because if you go by the storyline, Boba Fett hired him disguised as someone else simply to kill him. So yeah, he's done. He's gone.
I thought Jodo Cast was the guy who helped train the clones with Jango Fett.
No. Jodo was a guy that bought armor or got armor like Boba's and promoted himself as Boba Fett. When Boba Fett found out about it, he was pissed.
Oh, he the big guy that Chris Williams has the costume of? Like he's like a big buff guy.
No,
True. Something else.
I don't know what's going on.
None of these characters are canon anymore.
yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It
They
doesn't
don't-
matter.
Anyways, back to the Mandalorian. So we go back to Tatooine. That's where we discovered that I guess we kind of need the Tusken Raiders' help to find this Boba Fett. I forgot
That was
how.
my favorite part of the whole episode, was seeing them as a people.
Yes.
And going in a straight line, just like Obi-Wan says.
I don't think I ever caught that.
Yeah, they traveled in a straight line.
Yeah, never once did they not travel in a single
file.
And I really hope
The numbers.
I really want there to be a connection between the sign language and Obi-Wan. I think it would be really cool if there was a scene in like the Kenobi show where Obi-Wan was teaching them the sign language or something like that.
Oh.
So, I don't know. Maybe that's looking at it the wrong way, but
How would Obi-Wan, what is he known to have brought them knowledge of some sort, or what's that?
Well, we don't really know what he did.
I just think it would be a cool story idea if we see either them teaching him or him teaching them, just to kind of show him as a character and interacting with them.
Gotcha. Yeah. Because he did spend some time out there. Oh yeah, we got the Obi-Wan series to look forward to whenever that's
Next year.
Wow. Oh man, there's gonna be Tatooine is a busy planet these days.
Yeah, being out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it really. What is this place? So they're kind of hanging out with the Tusken Raiders, and I guess they get to a point where they decide that they've got to. How did he get to? He was looking for Boba, and that's when they run into the Krayt dragon.
No, he's looking for a Mandalorian.
Yeah,
Right.
He's told go to Tatooine, go to Mos Pelgo, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
And you'll find the Mandalorian.
It's like basically like a old Western town that's basically an old town that's kind of run down, abandoned almost, and
Yeah, it wasn't even on the map because they knew it got taken over by slavers.
right.
So it wasn't really even considered like a major town.
And it was more or less the Krayt dragon that kind of brought them all together.
Yeah,
to,
because Mando confronts Cobb and says, "Give me that armor," and Cobb says, "No." He says, "I'll give it to you if you help me kill the Krayt dragon."
Which I'm not going to lie, it bugged me a little that he took the armor from him.
That was the deal.
It was the deal, but deals can be changed.
Yeah, it would have been.
In
It would
my
have been cool.
opinion,
It would have
Cobb-
been cool if Cobb could have kept it because he needed it.
Yeah, he really does. He needs it to be the marshal.
But it's ancestral and it's important to the Mandalorians. It's
And Cod understands that.
cultural significance.
So here's the question then. Everyone always says Boba Fett, Jango Fett are not Mandalorians. If
They're not.
that armor, if we're continuing on that thread, and we say that armor also didn't belong to Boba Fett, then whose armor is that? Who does it originally belong to?
It could be
It had to have-
anybody.
It could have had to have belonged to a Mandalorian at some point. So like, whose armor is it? Maybe we'll find out.
It's
Or it could have been-
Mandalorian armor. That's proven.
It's Beskar. We know
Yeah,
that.
it is
Yes.
proper Mandalorian armor. It's just we don't know who it originally belonged to or how Jango or Boba came across it.
Or if it was for someone else and they never got it.
Ooh.
That's what happened to my stepdad's father who got a guitar made for Conway Twitty, and he ended up getting it before Conway Twitty did. But he ended up getting another one, the exact same one with different color, which is pretty cool. It's a beautiful purple Telecaster from the 60s. It's insane.
Welcome back to the Conway Twitty podcast.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, there's the name of our episode. Hello, darling.
It's been a long
What's the family name too? And now Conway Twitty.
sung by the Serenno Squad. So yeah, that's. But he ends up making a deal, but then they realize that they can't do it on their own. They got to team up with the Tusken Raiders, the village people. They're all pissed because they're monsters. They don't want. Let me go through my synopsis or whatever this is right here.
No, it's just I'm picturing the village people pissed.
They were pissed because
like the cop
they didn't.
and the Indian.
Yeah. Here's YMCA. Shut the hell up.
They didn't want it to happen, but they do. It turns out to be, man, they really were throwing those sand people under the bus, man. They just sent them out there. You're probably going to get eaten by the thing, but there's, a chance that maybe one of you guys can escape, and they still take that chance every time. But they never send out any village people.
I love
messed up.
A couple of the villagers died once the spit started.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think what I really liked is when they were like all the village people were like totally hating on all the Tusken Raiders, and I don't remember who said. I guess it was Mando who said it. He was like basically like, yeah, they're not good people. They're brutal. They live in this awful, terrible environment. They have to do like not so great things to survive, but like that's just what they do is they survive. So it was kind of cool that they're not like they portrayed them as not necessarily like this malevolent, like these just bad guys who are like, we don't like you, but they're surviving, and they just do kind of like, I guess they succumb more to like an animalistic instinct than what we civilized people would do.
Right, like you said, they're trying to survive. They're out there in the desert and whatnot, and
like they're not making like these grand civilizations like the people at Mos Pelgo or Mos Eisley or whatever. They're just digging in and doing their thing, living in their huts with their weird little dog thing. I don't know what you
drinking
call
water
it.
out of rocks or whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, cleaning their bantha teeth with the pokey stick thing.
That was weird. He was like hitting it. He was like making sure his teeth weren't loose or something.
No, he was using his.
No, he was cleaning them.
Was he? Okay, maybe I was too far away because it almost looked like he was hitting it with like a little bat, like testing his teeth. Like,
yeah, he was using it like he was like a dental hygienist. Using like the scraper thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was the coolest thing. I was like, that's why that's there. That's the reason for the pokey thing.
Oh, I didn't even realize that's what he was using. Oh my goodness, I need to go back.
You should really watch these. You'd really like them.
I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
I was pretty sauced when I watched it, but I was still apparently remembered more than you did.
Hey, I said I saw it. Okay. I just couldn't see good enough. I can't remember.
He saw it. Hey, look, the Mandalorian's on. Well, I'm going to go do this.
That is actually what I do. That I have a real problem with that. I'll just start
honestly, there's so
and
much,
walk away.
There's so much going on in that episode. Like I could totally see. Like,
it's a good episode. We got to stop and say that. By the way, it's like a really good episode. It's like 2 episodes in one. It feels like
it's incredible.
It's a great story.
Are they all going to be that long this season?
I thought it was like I did not expect them to start that strong. Like the last season obviously was great, but I feel like it took them.
It was too fast paced, man. Last season.
Yeah, like and the episodes were so short, so it was like very much like it almost felt you were seeing the highlights. But this episode, it was really like you got to see everything, and there were more than just one storyline going on. There was like I don't know. I just thought the this season started off so incredibly strong, and I'm really excited to see where they go from here.
Yeah, I think you said it like that's exactly right. It's almost like I went back and I watched the episode where I think it's the first episode and he learns to ride the blurg and
Yes,
season
that's the first episode.
that episode is so much going on, and it just jumps and jumps and jumps and jumps. And like you said, Evan, it's almost like it just showed the highlights. Because I remember watching that and being like, oh, he's already riding the blurg. Oh, he's already doing. I'm like, but this episode it seemed like it was very smooth, and it wasn't too busy and too rushed. So I got a good experience from it. I really liked it.
And that Krayt dragon, oh, so
That was pretty
cool.
Yeah, it was
It was
kind of
way
like
cooler than anytime we've ever seen it in Legends. It blows it out of the water. Way cooler, especially in KOTOR, where it just looks like a big, like reptile with like big four short.
it looked like a
little
maggot.
arms.
But whenever you see it, it's a
Didn't like
lot
how
like
wormy it was.
yeah, it's a lot. Go
Well, and
ahead.
that's the skeleton we saw in A New Hope,
Yeah.
which is a baby one, but yeah.
Right. Shucks. I had something I was gonna say there. But
Connor doesn't get that reference because he hasn't seen A New Hope.
Yeah.
actually,
if anything, you
actually,
spoiled it for him.
I know that one. That's when C-3PO is crossing over the dune.
Yes.
I was trying to explain that one to Heather, and she was like, "What skeleton?" And I'm like, like when they land and she was like, "What escape pod?" I was like,
What escape pod?
Disney Plus, just queue it up and you can fast forward right to the scene.
Heather watches these. If you're watching this, Heather, I love you, and we're gonna
Oh,
watch A New Hope
I
this
saw
weekend.
something really interesting. I was on YouTube
He's not
and I saw
watching
an Easter egg that I don't know if you guys have heard about.
What's
It's nothing that you would notice unless you were a total nerd and you were just looking for this stuff.
Well, then what is it? Because I damn
Yeah.
well could have seen it.
Did you see the scene? Of course you did, where dude is in the bar and the Death Star blows up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's on the hologram thing.
Yeah.
There's a ring of text, and that
Yeah.
what's that alphabet called?
Arabesh.
And it's spinning around, and it was translated, and it's the second paragraph from the introduction scroll text.
What does it say?
Luke, something about Luke, and like Luke doesn't know. I forgot what it is, but it's one of the lines in there. Now I gotta look it up.
I feel like Anchorman in that meme. He's like, "I don't believe you."
Fake news.
I'm very nerdy, but I tend to draw the line at learning fake languages.
Yeah, no, I don't. Some
That's what I'm
people are
saying.
like,
That is
I know the
something that you
alphabet, at
really
least.
gotta look into.
it's, yeah.
If I look at it long enough, I can kind of figure it out just based on 3 letters, 4 letters. It's like playing Wheel of Fortune.
Give me a B.
Um,
Jen can read it because she's done a lot of artwork with it, so she has the font.
I have the font as well because I printed it out and got it tattooed. And everyone thinks this is Virginia Tech, and it's not. It's an E. It's Empire. It's E and an E, and people are like Virginia Tech. I'm like, it's not Virginia Tech.
Evan's just trying to justify his Virginia Tech love.
Love it so much I got it tattooed twice.
that's pretty
I
good.
did go to Virginia Tech though, so I mean it's valid.
That's a great school, man.
I have been on that campus.
I have as well. I saw the Allman Brothers there.
Ooh.
I spent 5 long years on that campus.
I did too. I saw the Allman Brothers there. They played forever. Jesus Christ.
What, did the Grateful Dead open for them?
No,
Doubt
I
it.
wouldn't be caught dead there.
Of course.
And I certainly wouldn't be grateful. I got you a Grateful Dead ticket. Why do you hate me?
I cannot find this daggone.
Just buy drugs off of you. It's that much easier.
I'll just be out in the car listening to a live show from '83.
Wait, what are you guys talking about? Sorry, I just got off my phone. Okay.
Nothing.
We're just entertaining ourselves. while
Yeah,
you're-
don't mind us.
Um,
God forbid we talk to one another during the podcast. Please get on the phone.
it's not what this is about. Not at all. Going back to the Krayt Dragon, because that's what we were talking about. I was gonna compare it to kind of like Jaws, where Steven Spielberg, he only gave you a little bit. You didn't really get to see the whole thing. You only saw little bits of it, because I kept wanting to see, what does this thing look like, and all you'd see is like its nose, and I thought that was done really well.
I loved when you could see it like up on top of that mountain. I'm like, oh,
that was the
God,
best,
it's
dude.
huge!
You can tell everybody was in that room, and they're like, all right, guys, let's just I want one shot where just the craziest thing could happen. What if he pops out the top of the mountain and starts spitting acid on everybody? Like, that's it.
That's how they knew
Oh
they were
my!
losing because he
I'm
had
gonna have to
that-
watch this episode again.
Mhm. Yeah, you didn't hear that, but you should have.
So that's how they knew they were losing the fight, because at that point he had the high ground. You can't beat it once you have the high ground. It doesn't get any better the more times
I like
say
it more than Evan does.
I'm putting my helmet back on.
I like it more than Evan does.
There is one ultra nerdy thing that I didn't catch when I first watched it till somebody pointed it out, and I went back and rewatched it. As soon as that big Krayt Dragon fight starts at the end, the TV aspect ratio changes.
Really?
What?
Yeah, when you start out the show, film nerds are going to yell at me because I'm probably going to get these backwards. The aspect ratio is like here, it's like 2.35 or whatever it is. As soon as the three Tuscans go into the cave and the thing comes out, if you watch, the TV goes like that and opens up to the 16:9 ratio.
Wow.
How could I not have noticed that? Wouldn't there have been black bars or something?
No, the black bars go away.
You were watching the black bars until you saying that the transition of them coming out of the cave.
Yeah, once it comes out of the cave and that whole final battle starts, it goes away.
Wow.
And then once the battle's over and Mando leaves, the bars come back.
Wow.
You're blowing my mind right now. I'm gonna absolutely have to rewatch
Seamless.
this episode.
Seamless.
I
They did a good
didn't
job.
catch it until somebody pointed it out, and right before we started here, I was watching it again just to be like, huh, it does happen.
Wow.
You're not lying after all. So they end up using multiple techniques, mainly explosives, to destroy the Krayt Dragon. They do. And then the Tusken Raiders discover a beautiful Krayt pearl.
Yes.
That was awesome. I loved that. That was such a great. I don't know if that was just from KOTOR or if there was other legends about the Krayt Dragon Pearl, but
It's been in other stuff too, but I think it's all been in like trading card games. I think it all comes from KOTOR.
I loved seeing it. It was just right there. I was like, yes.
It was sweet. It was sweet.
Yes, I looked over and said, "Pick up our katoka."
I don't get that.
That whole fight scene is basically an extended version of that one mission in KOTOR where you have to go.
Yeah, because you have to kill it with
kill the Krayt
mines.
Dragon.
Now, somebody said that the yell that it does, that sounds just like what Obi-Wan does. I get that. I don't.
There's so many other noises going on. I can't.
I never picked it up, but I did hear about that.
Because I heard it and I turned to Heather. I was like, I paused it and I was like, holy shit. That was like, there was a little piece in
A
there.
sliver.
Yeah, just a little sliver, but I heard it. Again, I was sauced, so that may have been part of it.
I'm telling you, look,
You're unreliable
the
at this
sound that
point.
he makes, the one that they changed it to, sounds like a hobo down an alley echoing off of every. And it's so awful. And it didn't sound a thing like that thing. I did like the fact that the second time that they changed it to that creature that he's riding in 3. And I thought, well, that works perfect because he could, that's something that he was directly affected by. He had one. He knows what it sounds like. Nope, we need to change it to hobo noises.
There's got to be a comparison out there somewhere between the sound from
Yeah.
A New Hope and the
on
sound from the
YouTube.
new episode. Is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, because that's where I saw this one video that just had a whole bunch. One guy was just finding all the Easter eggs he could, and that was in there.
Yeah, I'm sure within an hour, by 7 a.m. Friday morning, there was a video online of here's all the Easter eggs explained. Open your YouTube app before clicking on it because we're gonna make our header image Boba Fett. Screw you. Stay till 4 a.m. on Friday.
Damn. What can we do?
Sorry, I get a little annoyed about that.
I what did I see?
Not the movies.
I think I saw a picture of dude from the comics or whatever, dressed up, but no, he wasn't dressed up like Boba Fett, but it said it had his name, the
More.
Marshall.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
but the Marshall image I saw was from like a comic or something, and he wasn't wearing any
Please say pants.
Oh, don't do that. So he had his pants on, he had clothes on, he just wasn't wearing any armor.
Not exciting.
And I saw that, I was like, the Marshal, I was like, what the heck is that? And then I see Mandalorian, I'm like, uh-oh, this is a spoiler, I can't look at this. And then when I watched it, I was like, oh, that's who the Marshal was. So that's the only spoiler I got.
And then he watched
I
it.
didn't
And he was
see.
like, I don't get it. I didn't really watch it.
What do you expect? I've never seen the films before.
Yeah, we know.
I'm having to go back and rethink.
I don't even know how I met you
what
guys.
I thought about the internet rumors. Because for months we've had all these rumors of like, oh, Tamora Morrison's coming back. He's gonna play Boba Fett. And then I was like, maybe that'd be cool. And then they're like, Timothy Olyphant's gonna be in it. And I'm like, okay. He's playing. There were specific rumors that said he is specifically playing this character. And I was like, okie dokie. And then of course there's all the like Ahsoka's there and Sabine's there and Jabba's uncle is there and the third guy from the left in Attack of the Clones is there and every character you've ever met in Star Wars is showing up in season 2 of Mandalorian apparently.
So far, the first episode.
Yeah,
Can't wait to see Biggs Darklighter again.
Biggs Darklighter.
Biggs is dead. Sorry,
Yeah,
spoiler. That happens in A New Hope. But yeah, I was like, we did the whole thing, and then you get to that last shot, and I'm like, it shows, and then he turns, like, holy crap, it's him.
Oh, I absolutely when I saw Tamora Morrison, like, because when I saw the back of his head, I was like, because he was holding the gaffy stick, and I was like, is that a Tusken Raider unmasked? And so I was excited, and then I was like, wait a second, no, that's a human, that's like a scavenger or something, and he turns around, and I'm like,
Yeah, so obviously he's hanging out with the Tusken Raiders.
So
No.
I
You
think
think
he
so?
killed a couple Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, I don't think they gave up their weapons to him willingly.
This is what I think, and this is also something that I saw online. But that there's at the beginning of, not the beginning, but when they're sitting around the campfire,
Mm-hmm.
there's this one standoffish sand person. And they say that nobody really, you don't think anything of it until you see the end, and you see that he basically has all of the Tusken Raider stuff, and it's more than likely, like, he could have killed them and he's walking around with them, but like, Isn't it more of the Star Wars thing
Well,
where he
that's
probably
kind of Boba
joined
Fett's
them?
thing, isn't it? Kill somebody and take their shit.
Well, that's what in the what you call it, the Legends. That's the way it is. But as far as you know, the trilogy goes, he's just a shitty bounty hunter, right?
That's really cool. Like I really want to rewatch this episode and like see all these things that we've mentioned, but I want to see if I can spot that because that would be so cool if there was like a tie-in.
I don't know. But after, I don't know if that was him hanging out with them in that scene, but after hearing that and then being like, oh yeah, well he kind of looks like he's dressed like you said, an unmasked Tusken Raider.
Which that's its own bit of hell.
Why do you say that?
That goes against their full religion, and they'll kill each other if they see their skin.
Oh, right.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently, there's a story about it might be Obi-Wan.
I know there's a Tusken Raider story in the From a Certain Point of View book. I
Yeah.
haven't read that one yet.
Yeah, he uses their own religion against them because he's just getting overwhelmed. And the closest ones to him, he swipes at them just enough to cut their robes, and the others just annihilate them.
Cool. Yeah. Some religions are just a little too extreme. But
Here's a whole new podcast.
Well, let me tell you all
Piss you
about
off
it.
podcast.
Let me tell you all about it.
Curious if Boba Fett's showing up in the next episode, or if they're going to tease him out for a little while.
I hope
They
he
can
shows
totally.
up.
Is he the person that came up on what's her name when she got killed?
That's the other question. Is in the first season when they wasted
Probably.
a great actress in a terrible part. Well, it was a good part. It was just way too small. She
Yeah,
got
they
killed
could have
by-
gotten anybody for
She got
that.
killed by
Yeah.
Dookie McDouchebag.
Yeah.
And there's that last shot of somebody walking up. You just see from like the knees down, walking up to her body.
But he is wearing a cape.
Before this new season was released or whatever, I heard rumors that was Boba Fett. And I was like,
Yeah.
what makes you think that's Boba Fett? And now it's like, it probably was.
Or
And I
could
don't
it
know
have
who
been
the
Cobb
heck-
Vanth?
Who the hell caught that and actually put out that rumor? But
At
I think
the
it was
time
already
that
out there.
episode- When that episode first aired, there's in the sound mix, anytime you see Boba Fett in the original trilogy, there's certain sounds that follow him. There's a sound of like spurs. There's kind of like this mechanical computery noise. You hear some of that in the last few seconds of that episode.
Right.
You
The
hear like
soundtrack
what
of his
sound like
life.
spurs.
Spoys?
Spurs. You're
Sounded like someone in the background said "spoys" right after you said that.
oh.
Now I'm hearing things, so you guys just need to really look out for me.
Well, I heard something, but I didn't know it was that.
It was Heather yelling at Chewie downstairs.
Oh, good. Because I was like, welcome to the Haunted Podcast.
That was last week's podcast.
And it wasn't creepy at all. We did a horrible job of preparing for Halloween.
You could have just stopped. We did a horrible job.
We'll
Last week's will never
stop.
and
Never stop.
except for the people complaining about, well, at least it wasn't that one. I'm sure we'll hear all about that.
You know, it's not the least viewed video that we've had, so that's good.
Probably because two friends told two friends that if you want to see something horrible,
This is the one.
Hey, I
See
thought last
some
week we did
cringe.
fine.
Friday song.
yeah, watch it on Friday.
Yes. Yeah.
Reference is older than Gunner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm having a good time, guys.
Like if I were to look at him and say badger, 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 he would not say mushroom, mushroom. No idea.
No, that's not.
Oh, that's just sad.
He was
Yeah.
in like grade in that kid.
Yeah.
I would say mushroom, by the way. And I would also say
Oh,
snake.
it's
It's
a
a snake. I'm a Homestar Runner kid, so I was into all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Oh, I got this done.
Was that a burnt cookie? What you got there?
No, this is the last of that helmet, that new Clun helmet goes up so high that I have to do 2 layers of these.
Yeah. Dude, mine is that way too. It's
So
something
I
about
had
the
to
shape of the cone
sew
helmet.
Velcro into this one so it'll stick to the others so that I can put it right in the front. So it's just on my nose and not mashing my nose in.
I do have some blocks that are about this big, and they're about an inch and a half or an inch thick, and you can cut it to any size you want if you need anything. Let me know. I've got tons of them.
I may, because there's still, like, I've got everything in the front because the way it's balanced to keep it from mashing into my face, I'm having to put everything to here. So right here, it is just digging into the back of my head. But if I put anything in the back, it moves it and just shows it.
Well, I also have the same size foam pads that are actually this thick, about a quarter of an inch thick. So you could line that in the back, and it won't have that much space.
Maybe.
I don't know if it was a matter of it being
I was
rough
going to put
on
a
your
little
head.
bit of foam in there and try it out and see. I'm still messing with it.
Well,
I did get the blue lines painted down the tubes, and those look pretty good. I still don't have the mic tips.
You painted them and not you didn't use the stickers?
No,
The
the
decals?
stickers were like, I think the stickers were $7 for the set, and it was $26 for shipping. I was like, "Are you serious for a set of stickers? It's a small sheet."
That's crazy.
Where were they
is it so
from?
much?
You probably I don't know who you got them from. Mine weren't that much. I paid $3 shipping or something like that, and
Doesn't Trooper Bay have decals for?
that's where I got mine from. Yeah.
That's where I went.
Oh well, maybe it's I don't know. Things are weird right now. I haven't ordered
Yeah.
it since the pandemic, so there's no telling. But
That reminds me, I need to get some tube stripes for my TK. I noticed when we were at the troop, mine are starting to peel up on the sides and look crappy.
I need to finish my 3D printed TK from Rogue One.
I don't know if I could get that curve right on each one of them.
Yeah.
That's actually screen accurate as hand painted.
It wouldn't match the rest of it, wouldn't it?
I'm just sitting here giggling to myself as you guys talk about making a clone helmet fit. I'm like, mine. I almost need to shave a couple layers of bone off so that I can fit on my head.
Yeah.
I had to cut. All right, where it comes around the front, I had to cut out a divot for my nose so I can get it on. Because if I didn't, then I would have just sheared my nose off.
Yeah, my nose is up against. I mean, my nose is up against the window. If you shine a light, like in the visor, you're gonna see my nose like mashed up against the window. So
If you shine a light in mine, you're going to get blinded because mine's a mirror.
cool. It sounds like it's worth a shot. Well, I mean, I guess that's it for the Mandalorian. That's it. That's it. We'll never talk about.
And all the listeners say, "Thank God."
But yes, so we got another episode coming up Friday, and
Now, do you want to do the next podcast if you're wanting to do weekly? Is it going to be a Monday?
I was thinking we go back and forth probably, like Monday, Wednesday,
Oh
Monday,
yeah,
Wednesday.
that's way better. No type of structure to it.
The structure is you don't have to do it. We don't have to come back every 7 days. You can come back every 9 days
The rules are there are no rules.
or something like that. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't make sense because what about days that we record? I don't know, man. Whatever works. We can record on Wednesdays. We could talk about this when we're not recording. That's something we could do.
You want to wrap this up?
Yeah, so
Yes,
another
I
name
wanted
for this
to,
episode would be Angry Village People.
Wanted to ask if anybody had anything to recommend, anything that they've been watching lately.
Squadrons is really fun, but you wouldn't know anything about that.
We're talking to the viewers and listeners, not me.
Oh,
We've already directed enough over here. Okay.
When you're waiting in between episodes of Mandalorian, you can watch Star Trek Discovery. It's really good.
Oh, this season is so good. This season of Star Trek Discovery and this season of The Mandalorian are like, it's like peanut butter and chocolate. They're just incredible. And I love that I have them both right now to watch, especially like during this time of just absolute utter chaos. I'm so glad that I have these two perfect shows to watch.
This Star Trek series just started same time as Mandalorian?
it's up to episode 3.
Okay, so it's still
Episode 4 will be tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
What season is this of this series?
Season 3.
Okay. So is it just getting into it? Usually it takes like season 2 to get their the footing, and then season 3 is sometimes the best season of any series. It's like The Office. Oh my god.
I don't know if you could jump into this season without,
No.
because you'd have to at least see the end of season 2.
And you'd had to have seen the whole last half of the season 2 to understand what you're watching when you're watching season, like that episode.
Yeah.
Because if not, then you're like, why is she jumping around? And just all that.
You pretty much have to have at least seen season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds good though. Good recommendation.
Yeah,
Star Trek.
Season 1 and 2 is kind of them. It almost feels like they're experimenting with a couple of different story ideas and styles of storytelling, and I feel like they find a really solid niche in season 3 that fits really well into Star Trek as a whole. Like if you're a Star Trek fan, you've watched everything like I have. It's like it doesn't feel like it's rehashing anything. It doesn't feel like it's trying to cram itself somewhere it doesn't really belong. It's like finally like, hey, we're gonna do our own thing now, and bye-bye. So it just jumps 1,000 years in the future, and then they're just off doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
And if you want something to laugh at that just you'll hate yourself for it, I mean, after you watch this one, check out Swamp Thing on the CW. It is beyond hot garbage.
That does not sound good. I was hoping it would be better than that.
It came on the DC Universe channel, and it's heavy, hardcore, violent, and there's language, there's all the stuff. CW got it and cut it all to hell, and so now it's like watching a TV movie.
Oh no.
It's super.
It's like, why doesn't this make any sense?
The way
It's like because
edit
they
around
cut
the
half of it
profanity is
out.
kind of funny.
Yeah, the profanity, the whole mouth goes like in a circle like that, just goes kind of brownish gray, and all the audio cuts out. They didn't even try to, like, when would at least
They blur their
Fox-
mouth?
Yep, blur the mouth, and
That's
the whole sound
disgusting.
drops out.
Yeah.
What decade is this?
Hey,
Is it the 1950s? Are you kidding me?
I remember back in like 2006 and going over to my friend's house and watching Triple X and it being like, and I'm going to give it.
Yep.
Yeah,
You-
it's more or less that.
It's like,
I
why
don't
are we
know
even
if
watching
they're gonna
this?
Go all that into it. I don't see why they didn't do like Fox used to do. Like when they showed RoboCop on TV, that is still one of my all-time favorites because they just added words in the background of other people saying them, and it was great too because like you get the one thing. I was like you when I was younger. Sometimes we'd call the old man Burner, and sometimes we'd call him a lot worse. What?
I gotta get my hands on that one.
And then when they showed Pulp Fiction, that one's a great single top one because they re-edited the movie. There's no GIMP in that movie. They
What?
re-edited the whole scene, and they
So
even
it's
made
just
a
the crazy redneck dude?
little cartoony looking thing when he pulls it out. He's like, "Well, how do I know which wallet's yours?" He's like, "It's the one that says Bad Mother Trucker." Oh, I'm sorry. It's the one that says Bad Mother Trucker. And then he pulls it out, and there's a little cartoon thing bouncing up and down on it that says Mother Trucker. Oh, yeah.
Well, there's also the snakes on a plane where he's
Yeah.
like, I'm sick of these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday
Monday
plane.
to Friday plane. Yes. Sometimes they call him
That's-
Kroner.
That's
Sometimes it's a lot worse.
all right. Okay. On that note, I think we
All
should
right,
end
sorry.
this. We really
Okay.
got to stop.
All right.
All right, guys.
You
Well,
just cut that out.
yeah, nope, it's too late. Well, thank you guys for joining. I appreciate you guys, and thank you all for listening. Check us out on the Instagram, also Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. You got the Serenno Squadcast. We have the Garrison Tyrannus website, and then also the 501st Legion website. Check us out. And we don't have any outro music this week, but we're gonna figure something out.
I will get you that. I needed to get it onto a flash drive.
We gotta make it happen. Maybe Paul can do some. If you give him the flash drive, maybe he can you send files
Tried to email them to him. The files are too big.
via email.
Post in a Google Drive.
Google. There we go. He will send it Google Drive. Well, thank you guys again, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.